In today's video, I wanted to talk about Nintendo's new system, Switch 2, coming out tomorrow. A couple of predictions that I have for it, maybe a couple of other things. One of the things that I did notice in this last direct that I have playing behind me is if they're putting the Metroid 4 on Switch, does that mean that we're not going to see Switch 2 this year? I mean, why would you put Metroid 4, which has been, people have been asking for this thing for forever, why wouldn't you put that on your new system? I don't understand that. Maybe they are and they just wanted to show a trailer for it. I don't know. Another thing, I do really like the fact that they put the Devil Summoner on there, because that might mean that they're going to put Persona 6 on the new hardware. Maybe they'll announce it tomorrow. There has been some predictions a little bit here and there that they're going to end up putting the Persona 6 on the Switch 2. I'm hoping that we're going to get some of SMT, Shin Megami Tensei, on Switch 2. Hopefully that's going to get announced tomorrow. I'm sure they're going to spend a lot of time on first party stuff, but third party is usually where I am. So I'm hoping for really, I mean, who wouldn't want to be on the Switch 2 at this point? It's probably going to be even more successful than the Switch. Now we are coming into a new era. We're probably going to see a system that's just as powerful as the other systems. But what else are we going to see? I'm not really one for gimmicks. I do like that the Joy-Con look like that they're going to be bigger. The system's going to be a lot more powerful. I'm not really into handheld things. So my thing is, what is it going to look like on a screen? I'm hoping that it's, 4K. Nobody can see 8K. I'm hoping it can handle 60 hertz, 60 frames a second. I'm hoping all this kind of stuff. Backwards compatibility. How many of us actually use that? I'm not really the biggest fan of backwards compatibility, just because how often you actually use it. I mean, really think about all of the systems, and I'm sure there are some people who do. But for example, over here, I've got a 3DS sitting over here in the cabinet. I've never, to my remembrance, used it for a DS game. To my remembrance, I think the original 3DS, when it first came out, when I still had DS games, I think I might have used it for that. But past that, how much do you really use that feature? You know what I mean? So I don't know that that's a feature that we really need to worry about all that much, but it is nice to have. The other things that I'm hoping to see is some of these crazy high rendered versions of Breath of the Wild that looked insane. I forget what channel I saw that on. There was these just completely remade Breath of the Wild. I probably would go play it again. I didn't think I'd ever play those games again. And that's another thing leading to Link to the Past. I am hoping that we are going to see a remake of A Link to the Past. The best game ever made in the Zelda series especially. I don't know what it is about that game in particular that was just so good that I think it's the only Zelda that I've replayed. Oh, other than Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is either an absolutely love it or absolutely don't like it at all game. I don't know why. I'm in the middle of playing SMT 5. I'm hoping SMT 6 is announced for the Switch 2. We'll see how that happens, because they did just have the DLC come out. Now, I don't know how many people are dedicated to Persona and SMT, so that would really depend, because I know Persona 6, they're supposed to be remaking a Persona 4. Maybe they'll announce that tomorrow. There's so many different things that could be announced tomorrow, but I really like Atlas games, so I'm hoping that we're going to see some Atlas games come to the Switch, not that we haven't already. That Metaphor is supposed to be coming to Switch 2, hopefully. There's a couple other games, but I'm really hoping that they're remaking Persona 1 and 2, and they're going to announce that tomorrow. I mean, I know I'm really hopeful here. I understand it. And it's probably not all day one stuff. I mean, but who knows? I don't know when day one is. we thought that we were going to see the system already, Switch 2 system already. So who knows when day one is. But based on that confusing direct, which I got playing behind me, I don't know why you would have that out unless you were either trying to throw people off the trail and confuse people, or you weren't bringing the system out most of this year. Like we thought we were going to see it in the summer. We thought we were going to see it in March. We thought we were going to... Is it even coming out this year? It could be coming out March 2026. Who knows? In the meantime, they're putting out these games, but it is going to change things. This, to my remembrance, is the longest system lifespan that they've ever had on a Nintendo. Is going to change everything. Everything's going to be different. Now, this is not like a world-changing thing or anything, but if you're into video games, this is going to change things quite a bit because the system's bigger, it's more powerful. You're going to have this system probably be able to play games that the PlayStation 5 and whatever the Xbox naming convention is so confusing. I don't even know what the new, the current gen is even with Xbox. It's going to be able to play those games. And so that's going to be already established, but it's going to have the Nintendo quirkiness, I'm sure, to it. What else is it going to do? Connectability. The reason I think they showed in this trailer behind me those virtual game counts or virtual game cards is because does it actually take physical media? That would be the biggest disappointment for me, is if it doesn't take digital game cards. That would be really irritating to me, especially seeing how they still charge the same. Like, I just can't understand. I understand that they got to pay people and salaries and it costs money to make these games, and I'm not asking for them to be like $10. But if you're gonna have a digital only game, why am I paying the same price that it would cost to get the game physically? Because as we've seen with some of the games like DuckTales and Remaster and a couple other games, once they decide that they don't want to have it on the server anymore, they pull it off the server. You can't get that game anymore. Like if you have it already on a system, fine, but you can't re-download that game anymore. And I don't like that. So if you're a collector, what do you do? So I don't really think we'll see that with Nintendo yet, but I think they are kind of putting that in our brain for the next system that comes out in like probably a decade. I don't know. I don't know. Or are they going to put a game card slot on this system, but they're really aiming to just get to a place where everything's virtual? And if everything's virtual, why aren't game prices coming down? Just a bunch of other questions that I have for this whole thing. Now, I haven't been looking into predictions because, quite honestly, I still might not even buy it. But I might buy it. It really depends on what I see tomorrow. If it's a lot of third-party stuff, because I really don't play a lot of first-party Mario games or Nintendo games. Like Mario, I'm not really the biggest fan of Mario. I have like Wonder and a couple of other ones. I haven't beat them. So I'm not like the biggest like fanboy for Nintendo games themselves, but they have had some really good exclusives. When I do travel, I like to have the system with me, so it has really worked well for that comparatively to some other systems. Zelda, though, is like a huge thing for me. So that's the one first party thing that I am really looking forward to. I'm hoping that we see a Link to the Past remake. That Breath of the Wild remake thing that I saw on somebody's channel was insane. It was so lifelike. If they're redoing that, that would be incredible. I mean, we'll just see. We'll see what's happening. I mean, to make something that lifelike, you probably would have had to started making that as soon as you launched Breath of the Wild, the original one, knowing that a new hardware was coming out or something. I don't know, but the models and everything were just so lifelike. Anyway, what are some of your predictions down below? What would you like to see on here? I don't want a bunch of gimmicks. They don't ever use the gimmicks. Nobody's ever going to code these gimmicks into their games other than Nintendo, and then Nintendo's probably only going to do it for the first couple of games, if that. I'm hoping that we stay away from gimmick Nintendo. I'm hoping it's just a video game system. As we've seen over the stretch of video game console history, the entertainment system, nobody's really looking for their video game console to be an entertainment system. They just want it to be a video game console. Hopefully they stick to that route. I'm hoping it works with, like, I got 3 different Pro controllers. I've got the Xenoblade one, I got the Zelda one, and then I got a black one. Hopefully those work with it. And I've also got the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons. I'm hoping all that works with this system. We'll see. There's a lot of things. Hopefully this is a pretty long direct tomorrow and they really get some a lot of questions answered. But again, I don't know that I see it coming out this year. It seems to me that they had production issues. They couldn't get everything out in time or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about that world. I don't know anything about that world at all. But we'll see what happens. I'm also hoping that they have more of a virtual console like they did on the Wii U, where you can buy things piecemeal. Like majority of the games, the retro games that came out for the Switch, I would never buy. I've never played them. I've tried to dabble in a couple of them. Just really wasn't my thing. So I'm hoping that's the case. But again, I'm tired of rebuying these games. Like, I'm not going to probably rebuy any of them. So I'm really not the right market for that. I know a lot of people want customizable, like, home screens. I really couldn't care less on that. I don't know why anybody would care about that. But if that's something that you care about, hopefully that they have that for you. But third party is really where I'm looking. And, we might even see the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth or whatever come out on Switch 2. Who knows? There's a whole bunch of things that could be happening tomorrow. We might be building an expectation that just isn't going to be there. Who knows? Because, it's Nintendo. They like to stretch things out, just like this thing I got going on behind me, this Direct. Like, they're stretching the life of this Switch out so far. I mean, it's almost crossed 2 generations. I think it actually pretty much has crossed 2 generations of video game consoles, because we're really coming. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see a PS6 announced for next year, and whatever Xbox is going to name their console. I don't know why Xbox couldn't have just done Xbox 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, the naming convention on there, I don't know who came up with that, but wow. So we'll see what we see tomorrow. But yeah, really, I mean, my takeaway from this video that I'm making right now is I'm really hoping that they have some stuff with Persona, especially seeing how we've been seeing rumors of Persona 4 being remade. I don't know if the original or Golden. We'll see what they do. Here's the thing, though, with Atlas, what they love to do, they'll remake the original and then sell you what makes it golden in 5 months time. They are really bad with that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Atlas. I'm sure they're going to have some kind of presence tomorrow. Maybe this may purely be hardware, first party related. Who knows? Another thing, I'm sure we're going to see indie companies display some of their stuff tomorrow. Not really into indie games all that much, and I'm sure they're got to fulfill all the contracts for indie games that were being ported to the Switch. They've got a lot on their plate. They have been doing this for over 100 years now. Because they started off making game card type thing. So it's not their first rodeo, but they did really drop the ball from Wii to Wii U. I think naming it Switch 2 really signifies that it's a new console, unlike the Wii U, where it looked like it was just an adaptation to the Wii. I don't think there's going to be that kind of ball drop go on. Ironically, the Wii U had way better games than the Wii did, but we'll see. And a lot of people are also hoping for another remake of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I hope that never happens. I hope it just never happens. I love Twilight Princess. It's one of my favorite Zelda games, but how many times can you rebuy a game? Like, really? And they're not going to remake it to a level that looks like a new game, probably. If they did, if they remade Twilight Princess and made it look like a current gen game, I would be on board with that. If it's just kind of a throwing it on a new game cart and calling it a day, then they are not getting my money. Another thing I'll be interested to see is if they finally kill off the amiibo. They really screwed that up so bad. I mean, so bad. So they can either just never have it again or actually make them useful. Like, I sold all mine when I moved out here because I didn't feel like carrying them with me. At one point, I literally had every amiibo ever made. And I'm like, what are these for? They did not have a good use in any of the games. They didn't really make it so you really wanted to buy it, other than just this weird collector person type mentality, which I have. And I'm like, they serve no purpose. I mean, half of them, if not 3/4 of them, I never even opened. So we'll see if they do anything with that or just kind of, call it a day with that. I think that's about it. I really think that's about it. I can't really, again, because I haven't been watching any of the speculations, because it doesn't matter to me. You can speculate all day long. You're not going to know a thing about it until it actually comes. I know there's a lot of speculators who are very accurate, but it's kind of like the 15 hours of lead up to a football game. Like, I don't need to watch the 15 hours of lead up to the football game. I just want to watch the football game, and I'll see who, wins based on how much they paid to win. But it's just, yes. Anyways, hopefully it's a good direct and not a very confusing direct, because this direct behind me was very confusing. Why are you putting this out? Are you telling us that the system isn't coming out this year, or what? And I'm sure they're going to probably do some kind of upscaling like the PS4 to PS5, although you really can't see that much difference between a game on a PS4 and a PS5, which is why I never bought a PS5 and probably never will. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'm hoping for Zelda and Persona and SMT. That's it, really. That's kind of why I buy Nintendo at this point. I will buy Mario games. I'm not like an anti-Mario person, but platformers just isn't my thing. I really hope we're seeing a Link to the Past remade. That alone would make me buy a Switch 2. I don't know why I love that game so much. I just do. And yeah, anyway, what are your predictions? I know I'm publishing this like an hour before the thing's coming out, but I think it could be good. Again, Nintendo has a track record of either being brilliant or absolutely awful. They don't seem to have a middle ground. They either knock it out of the park, like Switch 1, best-selling video game console of all time, or they have a Wii U, or a Virtual Boy. Like, there's no, which I actually liked. I really liked the Virtual Boy. I just, having to have it on the stand was annoying. Like, if they would have had a headband and you could have kind of laid on your bed and, played it, that would have been fine. But anyway. So they're either going to knock it out of the park or they're just going to fall out. And who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that is my video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.